What's up, yins, guys? Welcome back to Fishing PA with Ryan Reed. In this episode, I'm going to continue on with my lake breakdown series, and we're going to talk about Lake Nockamixon. Now, Lake Nockamixon is located in the southeastern quadrant of Pennsylvania, and it's roughly about an hour away from downtown Philadelphia. Now, Lake Nockamixon is actually located in the valley of Haycock Mountain, and it's actually the highest point in Bucks County. Now, Lake Nockamixon is also the largest lake in Bucks County, and it's roughly 1,450 square acres. Lake Nockamixon is actually formed by a dam, and that dam sits right on the Tohickon Creek. Now, Lake Nockamixon is the centerpiece when it comes to Nockamixon State Park, and Tohickon Creek eventually runs all the way into the Delaware River. Hopefully I'm pronouncing Tohickon correctly for those of you that live out east. I'm from Western PA, so cut me some slack. Alright, a few things about Nockamixon State Park. First and foremost, it's a beautiful area. It's very scenic, it's peaceful, and it's very tranquil. It also gives you guys plenty of opportunities to get out there and do some camping and to do some hiking, as well as spending some quality time on the water. Now, to my knowledge, Lake Nockamixon has a 20 horsepower limitation when it comes to boat traffic. And that's important. For those of you that like that peaceful and that tranquil experience on the water, Lake Nockamixon offers that. So for those of you with motorless boats like canoes and kayaks, this is an excellent opportunity for you guys to get out there and really enjoy nature on a beautiful lake in a beautiful state park here in the state of Pennsylvania. For those of you out there that like to fish from shore, Lake Nockamixon offers several different locations up and down the lake for you guys to get out there and do some bank yanking. For those of you that like to go out there and play on the ice, Lake Nockamixon offers ice fishing in the winter months. So there are multiple opportunities for you guys to get out there even if you don't have a boat. Now, Lake Nockamixon is really classified as a warm water big bass lake here in the state of Pennsylvania. However, there's a lot of different species that live in Lake Nockamixon that will give you opportunities for more than just bass. So, common species in Lake Nockamixon include walleye, and muskie, and pickerel, and catfish, and really any of your panfish species. Now, you guys are also going to find smallmouth and hybrid striped bass in Lake Nockamixon, in addition to the high largemouth population throughout the lake. There are a couple of key features at Lake Nockamixon that will help you guys as anglers. First and foremost, about midway point in the lake, there's actually a fishing pier. So again, those of you fishing from shore, gives you another opportunity or a spot to get out there and fish from the bank. In addition to that, this is a state park, so boat and fish have this lake on the fish improvement plan. So what that means is there's going to be a lot of man-made structural elements that are imported or inserted on the lake in order to kind of increase the habitat and the overall living experience for the fish. So we're going to highlight a couple of those key features in this video and talk about what those structure points really mean for you guys as anglers. Alright, so Lake Nockamixon, the structure points really vary and the depths really vary. As you guys are aware, the water depths in Lake Nockamixon can go anywhere from 5 feet of water to 80 feet of water. And in addition to that, you guys are going to have mostly grass or rock flat bottoms, and or you guys are going to run into a lot of cliffs and steep drop-offs. Again, some of those ending in 80 feet of water. Now, key elements of the lake. First and foremost, weeds and weed edges. You're mostly talking about milfoil on Lake Nockamixon, and most of those weed edges are going to be in deeper water. A lot of these weeds and weed edges, they're not visible from the surface unless you're fishing the north end of the lake. So it's kind of important to focus on your electronics to find those edges and really fish them hard. Now, other key structural elements in the lake. Fish and boat, again, they do a fantastic job with the fish improvement plan. And you guys are going to see man-made structure like cribs and junior cribs throughout the lake. You're also going to see rock humps and lots of added rock structure. Also, you guys are going to see pole fields or stump fields. And it's really just kind of man-made timber like telephone poles. They install that in the lake to just kind of better and really to increase fish habitat. So any of those structure points are really going to help you guys locate more fish, because again, they serve as a safe haven for the fish and really a fish attractant. A few other structural elements. Submerged roadbeds. Now there's actually a few submerged roadbeds throughout the lake, and they serve as transition areas. And you guys know, anytime you find a transition area, you find fish, especially deeper fish like walleye. One other key structural element that I really want to highlight, and this is mostly for you bass fishermen, but muskie and pickerel also hang out in these types of areas. Lake Nockamixon has a tremendous amount of lily pads, especially towards the north end of the lake. And lily pads can be very effective for you guys, especially when you're working jerkbaits and topwaters. So a tip for you guys in the summer is to find those lily pad areas and work your jerkbaits, work your crankbaits, work your spinnerbaits, and your topwaters all throughout that stuff. And really, for those of you that don't know, whenever you run into a lily pad, it's always good to kind of rip your baits through that stuff, because what you're going to do is you're going to get hung up on those lily pads, and when you rip a bait free, it could force a potential reaction strike. So fish those areas and fish them slowly. Take your time and work through those lily pad areas in the summertime, and they'll really help you guys produce more fish throughout that time of year. Anytime you guys go out to a lake, especially here in Pennsylvania, it's important for you guys to take a look at the fishing regulations for that particular body of water. So, some really important things to note when you're fishing Lake Nockamixon. First and foremost, the prohibited fishing areas. These areas include from boat docks, launching or mooring areas, and within 100 feet of those areas. Anywhere in a boat rental area and in the marina within those buoys. So you guys want to make sure you mind the buoys when you're talking about going in and out of the marinas. If you go in past those buoys, it's actually illegal to fish. It's also illegal to fish from bridges, below the spillway and the silt dam, and also any area that's marked or posted no fishing. Now, it's important for you guys to always be safe when you're out there, but it's also important for you guys to stay on the right side of the law. If you guys follow the rules and make sure you pay attention to those regulations, it'll make sure you guys stay out of trouble. All right, guys, so what I want to do now is I want to take some time. I want to show you guys the map. We're going to go through my markup, talk about all the hot spots that I'm aware of on Lake Nockamixon. So hopefully you guys find that information beneficial. After we're done with looking at the map, we're going to go ahead and just talk about some other key fishing tips that will hopefully help you guys catch more fish on Lake Nockamixon. So again, looking forward to getting through this. Let's go ahead and get started. All right, guys, let's go ahead and get started in the discussion on Lake Nockamixon. So first and foremost, we're going to go ahead and zoom in on the map. And the first thing you guys are going to see is that I have a tremendous amount of marks here. So we have a lot of information to cover in a short period of time. What I'd like to do is I'd like to start working from south to north. That's going to give us the best opportunity to cover as much of this information as possible. So I'm going to go ahead and zoom into the south end of the lake here. And really the first thing that we're going to notice right off of the bat is you guys are going to see water depth anywhere from 1 to 5 feet of water. Now this end of the lake is an outflow / inflow, and you're basically going to see about 1 to 2 up against shore, and in the middle of this end you're going to see about 5 feet. Now notice, as we work north, the main creek channel or the main lake channel is going to be the blue line. Now, it's not 100% accurate. However, it's going to be close enough for you guys to locate that with your electronics. So, anytime you guys see the blue line, that's going to be the lake / creek channel. And anytime you guys see a yellow line, that's going to indicate a submerged roadbed. So, as we work north here, we're going to kind of get out of this end of the lake. And the first thing you guys are going to find here is 2 submerged roadbeds. Now the roadbeds are going to jet right across the lake here, and they're going to cross that channel. Now, the orange marks here, you're going to have turtle basking platforms. You're going to have some here, and you're going to have some here a little bit further down the lake. Now on the opposite side, this is going to be some man-made structure. So again, boat and fish, they put in these post clusters. And a post cluster is basically a section of timber that looks like telephone poles or posts that have been implanted into the lake to serve as timber structure. Now, as we work down here, you guys are going to notice some rock rubble humps right here in this section. And that's also man-made structure. And you're also going to notice that the water depth drops to about 10 feet. Now, as we continue to work north, you're going to see 3 Mile Run boat launch here and 10 feet of water. And on the opposite side of the lake, you're going to run into some porcupine cribs. Now, these porcupine cribs are going to be in anywhere from, I would say, 8 to 10 feet of water, potentially 6 to 10 feet of water. So check those cribs out. Those areas are going to hold fish. As we continue to work north, we're starting to get into 15 feet water depths, and you're also going to have some additional turtle basking platforms. You know, this is not only good for the turtles, but that wooden structure attracts fish. On the opposite side, you're going to run into some submerged rock rubble humps and again, some additional post clusters. The rock rubble humps are going to go around this point, and this is going to be an awesome option for you guys to do some fishing. Now, yellow lines. So we have the creek channel running across the middle here of the lake, and you guys also have the submerged roadbeds. Now you have this submerged roadbed here and another one here in roughly 10 to 15 feet of water. In the center of the lake here, you're going to find 20 feet of water. So as we work up into this cove, 20 feet of water, instantaneously you have the roadbed on the left and you have porcupine cribs here on the right. So locate those porcupine cribs, you'll locate fish. Water depth gets to about 20 to 10 feet here. You guys are going to run into some post clusters up against shore with some additional rock rubble humps. Awesome, awesome section of the lake to do some fishing. Now, porcupine cribs. You guys have a bunch of junior cribs in here. There's probably at least 30 cribs in this area, and that's going to be from 10 to 15 feet of water, probably off of this point in this back section of the cove. The water depth's going to go from 15 to 5, and in the very back end here by the bridge, you guys are going to have some turtle basking platforms. So this is an excellent end or cove of the lake to do some fishing. Now, as we continue to work here, again, notice the submerged roadbed here. Notice the rock rubble humps off of this point, and the water depth is about 15 feet. You have turtle basking platforms here, and you have post clusters here. Now, as we follow the channel, we're going to see post clusters on the opposite side and rock rubble humps. Water depth from 15 to 25 feet, and then eventually into 30 feet. Now, if you guys find this little offshoot cove here, you're going to find some porcupine cribs right in the middle of this cove. That's an excellent spot. So as we keep working down the lake here, water depth 20 to 30 feet. Again, we're going to run into another offshoot cove. Rock rubble humps and post clusters and more rock rubble humps in this section of the lake. You have water depth of 30, and the channel kind of runs to the left end of the lake. Again, more post clusters off of this point. You just guys got to find that structure to find the fish. As we keep working down or north the lake here, we're going to run into 30 feet to 20 feet to 10 feet water depths. And that's going to be right up against the cabin launch. So you're going to notice the cabin launch on this side of the lake. And again, you guys have your submerged roadbeds that kind of jet out across here and then across the lake. Now, we have this other cove here, porcupine cribs on the outside of it, and about 30 feet of water. As you work back into this cove, 10 feet of water and a mass amount of porcupine cribs surrounding this submerged roadbed. Water depth is about 5 feet in the back end of this cove. This is one of my hot spots. This is a very awesome, awesome section of the lake to do some fishing. Now, as we back out of that cove, you're going to shoot across and you're going to notice these rock rubble humps on the opposite side of the lake. Water depth's about 35 to 40 feet in the middle. And as we continue to work down, we're almost about halfway here. Now, you guys are going to notice on the right side of the lake, we have rock rubble humps that were put in here. In addition, you have these post clusters. So awesome structure points. You have the stream channel coming across here right by the fishing pier. So the fishing pier is on the opposite side of the lake here. You have Porcupine Cribs just outside of the fishing pier. And then you also have the Submerge Roadbed that kind of jets out here with some post clusters and some more rock rubble humps up against shore. Water depth is anywhere from 15 to 25 feet. So as we work here, we're going to keep working north of the lake. You're going to run into your first black bass nesting structures. You're also going to run into some chunks of junior porcupine cribs in about 10, I would say about 8 to 10 feet of water here. Now water depth is going to go from 10 to 20 to 30. You have a really awesome bass hotspot right in the middle of this lake. There's some good structure out here. And if you guys use apps like Fishity, you guys can locate some of these hotspots and target some of these areas that other people have caught fish. Sometimes the middle of the lake, you guys are going to find sunken islands, and you guys are going to find weed structure, and you're going to find humps and those types of things, and ledges. Nockamixon is known for ledges. This is a very sharp drop-off lake, so you have a lot of drop-offs that go into deep water. This is a first hotspot, or one of my first bass hotspots. A lot of people have caught fish off of this coordinate, so check it out on Fishity, and it'll help you guys locate those fish. So the channel runs in the middle, 40 feet, you got 15 feet on the edges, and you got some docks over there. So we're going to keep working north. Anywhere from 15 to 35 feet of water, and you guys are eventually going to run into the marina. Again, illegal for you guys to fish in here. Look for the buoys, stay on the outside of the buoys. But you have a submerged roadbed that runs right across the lake here, and eventually the middle is going to go to 40 to 50 feet. Now, the shoreline here, very interesting. You got rock rubble humps and you got post clusters intermixed with this section of submerged roadbed. On the opposite side of the lake, you have porcupine cribs off of that point, and vertical planks, which are basically vertical pieces of wood that are installed in the lake. So vertical planks in this back cove. Now, if we move to the right here, we have, aside from these rock rubble humps, you have a water depth of 55 feet, 30 feet. You got these submerged roadbeds everywhere here, crisscrossing. And we're going to get to this section of the lake. Again, if you guys look on Fishity, you have a hot spot here, a hot spot here, and a hot spot here. This is an awesome area for you guys to troll. There's not only a weed edge there, but there's a steep drop, a cliff, and really just an awesome ledge right there for those fish to hang out. Okay, so it's worth taking some time to troll along this area, find those musky hot spots, because again, the submerged roadbed is going to serve as a transition line. Anytime you guys have a roadbed coming across a channel, it's going to be very, very good. So this area right here, prime hotspot, and then just outside of that, troll around here for your muskie. Now, in this cove, you have a ton of porcupine cribs, the junior cribs. There's a lot of them here. Excellent, excellent hotspot for you guys. You go across here, you got more porcupine cribs, you have turtle platforms, and you have some stone deflectors up in here. Water depth is going to be about 5 feet, so it's going to shallow up pretty quick. Now, as we work down here, you're going to run into another point. Water depth, 10 feet. You have post clusters, you have rock rubble humps, and you have turtle basking platforms. But notice here, you have another musky hotspot. There's a really solid weed edge here. It's a deep water weed edge, and this is where you're going to want to focus on trolling up and down here for your muskie. Again, transition area with the submerged roadbed and that stream channel. So it's an excellent, excellent area. Now, as we continue to work around here, notice water depth 60 feet. We're going to have some felled trees all along this shoreline on both sides of the lake. Awesome timber structure for you guys to focus on. We're going to continue to work around here. You're going to see a black bass nesting structure here. And then before we make the turn on this point right here, you're going to see the channel come in, wrap around, and we're going to talk about this here in a second. Let's move south briefly. South is going to take you guys directly to the dam. So you have your black bass nesting structure, you have your water depth of 80 feet. You have rock rubble humps all along here and a very awesome bass hotspot almost up against the dam right off of this point. A lot of people have caught big bass in this particular area. So as we work along the dam, we're going to go back up to this corner and we're going to talk about this point. This corner right here, there's a tremendous amount of porcupine cribs. You also have a black bass nesting structure in the back end of this cove. You have felled trees. In Porcupine Cribs, that equals bass hotspot. Good structure in shallow to deep water. So those fish can go into deep water to feel safe, and they can come up into shallow water and have good structure points for ambushing prey. On the opposite side, you got rock rubble humps. You have post clusters, and you have that deeper water. So right off of this point, that's yet another bass hotspot. Check Fishity, you guys are going to see the caliber of fish that are caught out of this area. So as we work north, the stream channel, we've got Porcupine Cribs, we've got felled trees. We got a water depth of 10 feet into that cove. Water depth of 40 feet out in the middle of the lake as we work towards the middle here. So water depth, 5 feet, 5 feet. We're going to hit Haycock Launch. Now, Haycock Launch, critical area of the lake for you guys. You have post clusters on the right, you have the channel in the middle, and you have one of the best weed beds on the entire lake right in front of Haycock Launch. This weed bed is a deep weed bed, and it's going to hold fish. It's a bass hotspot, and there's also been several muskie caught out of here. So, focus on that weed bed, get on that edge, and throw your plugs. You also, as we work towards the actual road and the bridge here, you have Porcupine Cribs, 10 feet. You also have riprap up against this shoreline and vertical planks. So not only do you have cribs, you have 15 feet of water, you have riprap and those vertical planks. That equals bass hotspot. Awesome, awesome structure here. Notice you have planks on both sides. So both sides is a hotspot. You get in and around this area, it's going to be very fantastic for you. Not only do you have those structure points, but you have the rock rubble humps up against the shoreline on both sides, and you have killer grass weeds and lily pads all up and down this stretch. Water depth 20 to 25 feet. The channel area in the middle of this section is your muskie hotspot. This is a very, very legendary muskie spot. When you look at this spot, it has many different aspects that would lead you to believe that there are muskie living there. In addition to that, again, Fishity, there are muskie catches up and down this section of the lake. You have fantastic structure on both sides, you have good water depth, and you have excellent weeds and lily pads. This is where you should focus a lot of your effort when you're out there muskie fishing, and a lot of trophy bass are caught out of that section of the lake as well. So as we work north, post clusters, we have a ton of Porcupine Cribs here. We have excellent weeds, we have the channel, and we have a lot of lily pads. And then eventually, you're going to get to the inflow. So, there are a ton of structure points up and down this lake. We covered a lot of them. So hopefully you guys find this information beneficial, and it helps you locate these structure points in order to help you guys catch more fish. All right, boys and girls, that's about as much information that I can give to you on Lake Nockamixon. Now, for those of you that live out east, it was my goal to finally break down a lake that's closer to you guys. A few of you have asked me to break down lakes on the eastern side of the state, and I really want to put a focus on that so I can get you guys some good information that will help you guys outside of Western Pennsylvania. Now, it's somewhat out of my comfort zone because I don't get out to these lakes regularly. However, if you do enough research and you put enough time and effort into it, you really can come up with some good solid information. And hopefully I did that for you guys with this video. So if you guys like this video, go ahead and hit that like button for me. If you guys like the content overall, please subscribe to my channel. And don't forget to ring that bell so you get all the new content that I'm going to be posting this winter. All right, guys, I greatly appreciate your time. Thank you all very much for watching. If there's something you guys want to see in particular, feel free to drop me a message and I'll do my best to get you a video on it. For now, those of you out on the ice, tight lines, See you next time.